Please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Well, thank you all for being here. Happy New Year to everybody. Jody, can you call the roll, please?
Dennis. Harold.
Present.
Hollenbaugh.
Here?
Odericio.
Here.
Phipps.
Here.
Robinette.
Here.
Sherry.
Here.
Okay. Jeff texted me he's about 10 minutes out. So he will be here.
Okay, great.
Okay. That brings us to the swearing in of newly elected council members. Judge?
Alrighty. And here in the new building.
There you go.
Alrighty, well, I guess we will wait 10 minutes.
We got,
Yes, we'll get right over there.
and do we have
Here
a,
next.
do we have a microphone?
Do not.
Okay.
First.
You're first. Newly elected or pre-elected.
Yeah.
Does it?
Would you please repeat after me? I, William Harold. I, William Harold. Do solemnly swear. Do solemnly swear. That I will support the Constitution of the United States. That I will support the Constitution of the United States. The Constitution of the State of Ohio. The Constitution of the State of Ohio. The ordinances and laws of the City of Bowling Green. The ordinances and laws of the City of Bowling Green. And will faithfully discharge. And will faithfully discharge. My duties. My duties. As a member of City Council. As a member of City Council. For the City of Bowling Green, Ohio. For the City of Bowling Green, Ohio. So help me God. So help me God. Thank you. Please repeat after me. I, Joel Odericio,
I, Joel Odericio,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the State of Ohio,
the Constitution of the State of Ohio,
and the ordinances and laws of the City of Bowling Green,
and the ordinances and laws of the City of Bowling Green,
and will faithfully discharge my duties
and will faithfully discharge my duties
as a member of the City Council
as a member of the City Council
for the City of Bowling Green, Ohio.
for the City of Bowling Green, Ohio.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Alphabet.
I, Rachel Phipps, do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
That I will support the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the State of Ohio,
the Constitution of the State of Ohio,
and the ordinances and laws
the ordinances and laws
of the City of Bowling Green,
of the City of Bowling Green,
and will faithfully discharge my duties
and will faithfully discharge my duties
as a member of the City Council
as a member of the City Council
for the City of Bowling Green, Ohio.
for the City of Bowling Green, Ohio. Okay.
Damon? Please repeat after me. I, Damon Sherry, do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of Ohio and the ordinances and laws of the City of Bowling Green, and will faithfully discharge my duties as a member of the City Council for the City of Bowling Green, Ohio. So help me God. Congratulations.
Okay. We will briefly pause our swearing and move on to the election of officers. Does anyone have a motion to make for president of council?
Mr. President,
Mr. Harold,
I move that we appoint Mark Hollenbaugh as president of Bowling Green City Council.
Second.
okay, properly moved and seconded. Jody?
Harold,
Yes.
Hollenbaugh,
Yes.
Odericio,
Yes.
Phipps,
Yes.
Robinette,
Yes.
Sherry.
Yes.
Okay. I would like to make a motion for Rachel Phipps as president pro tem of council.
Second?
Properly moved and seconded. Jody?
Hollenbaugh,
Yes.
Odericio,
Yes.
Phipps,
Yes.
Robinette,
Yes.
Sherry.
Yes.
Harold.
Yes.
Okay. That brings us to the minutes. The minutes were distributed from our December 18th meeting for your perusal. Prior to this evening, are there any additions or corrections to those minutes? Hearing none, do I have a motion to approve the minutes?
So moved?
Second.
Properly moved and seconded. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay. Jody, do we have any correspondence?
We do not.
Okay. Do we have anyone signed up for lobby visitation?
Yes, we do. Lindsay Joe Durham.
If you could state your name and address for the record, please.
Hello, my name is Lindsay Jo Durham, and I live at 1082 Fairview Avenue. I'm here tonight on behalf of the BGO Pride Association to welcome Councilmember Sherry to office. We are excited to have witnessed you make history and look forward to you continuing to do so. While I may not be part of the LGBTQIA+ community myself, I can surely understand the power and importance of representation. You've opened the door of opportunity for many citizens in Bowling Green, and for that, we'd like to thank you. We look forward to working with you to continue to promote diversity and inclusion in Bowling Green. Thank you and welcome.
Do we have any others?
No.
Okay. Introduction of new legislation.
Mr. President,
Mr. Robinette.
on behalf of the Finance Committee, I have two ordinances. First, an ordinance amending Ordinance 9155 adopted by City Council on December 18th, 2023 to include additional information, and an ordinance authorizing an agreement between the City of Bowling Green, Ohio and the Wood County Regional Airport Authority.
All right. That brings us to official reports. Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. President. Good evening, council. I don't really have a report, but I did want to wish all of you a very happy new year. And I want to extend my congratulations to those newly elected members of council or newly re-elected members of council and those members of council that are returning to service. As you're well aware, 2023 was a busy year. I have every reason to believe that 24 will be equally as busy, and I look forward to working with all of you to make Bowling Green a better place. So thank you very much. That concludes my report, subject to any questions.
Does anyone have any questions for the mayor this evening? All right, thank you very much.
Yep.
Municipal Administrator, Ms. Treader.
Good evening. Just an update, council had asked prior to the end of the year that we begin posting our your draft legislation online, and Jody has executed that, and that is now being done. So if you'd like to go to City Council's website, there are links there with that information. She's tried to make it clear what is draft so that people understand, pending legislation versus past legislation. I think that she's done a nice job with it, so thank you, Jody. That's all I have this evening, subject to your questions.
Are there any questions for Ms. Treader this evening?
Mr. President?
Mr. Harold?
Lori, I really don't have any questions, but I'm trying to burn some time to give Jeff a chance to get here before the meeting's over. So is there anything that is on your mind for challenges or opportunities for this coming year?
As we discussed with you at the budget hearing, we do certainly have a lot of pending items in the year ahead, including, major road projects that will be upcoming that we covered in the budget hearing, and of course, opportunities to discuss various items with City Council. So we'll look forward to working on those. We also had heard feedback from Council wanting to do an update on the ARP funding, and so staff is planning that right now. And we plan to work with President Hollenbaugh to make a scheduled time for us to have that discussion, update you on where the funding is and what remains, and make some decisions to make sure that we execute all those funds.
I appreciate that, and it's been helpful in the past when Dana's put together a spreadsheet of what's planned and what's already allocated and what various funds accounts they're in. So I think that would be, you're probably planning to do it anyway. I'm just saying that I appreciate when that's done.
Yes, we'll pass that along, and I agree that that will be helpful for transparency for everyone where we are with those funds.
Very good. Thank you.
Sure.
City Attorney, Mr. Brown.
Good evening. I would just like to say welcome to all new and returning members of council, and I look forward to working with you. And other than that, I have no report.
Are there any questions for Mr. Brown this evening?
Mr. President? I don't
Mr.
have any
Harold.
questions. Is there anything
Sure.
you want to say while we're waiting?
I could give a slight update, I suppose. One of the things I've been looking into was, as you're probably all aware, we've had some changes to the marijuana legislation in the state of Ohio. And, especially now that the judge is in the room, it's probably important to note that as I have worked with him for many years, he was always very concerned about how someone was cited when they were cited for marijuana indiscretions. And as such, I'm working on trying to make the laws of BG mirror that of the state of Ohio, such that we have minor misdemeanors that are the same as the state of Ohio, so that any fine revenue that comes from that goes to the city instead of the state. So it's a little complicated, though, but I'm working on it.
I'm particularly pleased that you didn't stop when you said, speaking of marijuana, the judge is in the room. I appreciate that you went on and explained more.
Any questions for Mr. Brown? Public Infrastructure Director, Mr. O'Connell.
I'll just jump to Bill's question and
There you go.
kill some time.
Cut out the middleman.
So we did have an EPA asset management review a couple weeks ago. This was in relation to our loan application with the Village Waterline Project. Every 3 years, the EPA comes in and the state of Ohio has requirements for asset management for our water system. We have to, do certain things that are in the code. It involves a lot of staff, really. Our GIS department has a big role in that, but also the water plant, the water distribution, Jackie Spangenberg, and the finance side of it. So tracking all that information has to be done as you go. You can't go back and rebuild some of that stuff. So I will say we did pass all of their criteria. There's probably easily over 20 different areas that you have to comply with asset management, with maintenance, upkeep, tracking of data. All those things have to go into this whole package. And so I was really pleased with the response that staff put together for the review. It was an online review. Again, EPA had no comments back for us at the end of that and said we met all the requirements that were in the revised code. The other thing I would say is we are also trying to update our contracts right now with the ordinance that was just passed by council for the responsible bidder. So we're trying to see where we need to modify our documents. So Hunter's given us some information for that. And we're trying to update some forms potentially to make it easier to implement for us for evaluations after we get bids in. So that's all I have unless you have questions.
Are there any further questions for Mr. O'Connell?
We're good. Thank you.
Okay. On that note, let us resume the swearing-ins.
I thought I'd get out of it. Sorry about that. No report subject to your questions does not work as well in every municipality as it turns out.
I, Jeffrey Dennis, do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States, the Constitution of the State of Ohio, and the ordinances and laws of the City of Bowling Green, and will faithfully discharge my duties as a member of the City Council for the City of Bowling Green, Ohio.
All right. That brings us to council committee reports. Do we have any council committee reports?
Mr. President,
Mr. Robinette?
on behalf of the Finance Committee, I've got a couple of matters. One, I'd like to announce some meeting dates for 2024. On February 5th, we'll have a review of our finances from 2023. On April 15th, we'll get a first quarter review. On July 15th, we'll receive a second quarter review. And October 21st, we'll receive a third quarter review. All of those all those meetings will begin at 6:30 p.m. unless we find need to change that prior. All of these will be announced again. I just wanted everyone to save the dates on their calendars. And of course, at the end of the year, at a date to be determined, we'll have our budget hearing, most likely in December, as in previous years. Secondly, Mr. President, over the holidays, I had a chance to reflect on this past year, and I was reminded of what a very eventful and productive year 2023 was for Bowling Green in general, and Bowling Green City Council in particular. Bowling Green City Council has a very defined but important role as the legislative branch of city government. And we spent a lot of time as council looking forward when we establish annual goals, when we review and approve the mayor's budget. We also discuss legislation prior to voting to adopt, but then we move on to the next matter. And except during our quarterly finance updates, we don't routinely look back and review our accomplishments. Our city code anticipates this need to review and notes that the Finance and Ways and Means Committee should, quote, report from time to time upon those provisions and arrangements which are conducive to economy, order, and accountability in the conduct of the fiscal affairs of the city. So in my capacity as chairperson of the Finance and Ways and Means Committee, I'd like to make the following report in accordance with Section 31.05A of the Bowling Green City Code. My report will highlight only 4 of the many areas that could be addressed, specifically economic development, housing, the zoning code update, and our investment in infrastructure. First, economic development. The Bowling Green Economic Development Team has successfully positioned Bowling Green as an attractive site for business, exemplified by Abbott's decision to build a manufacturing facility in BG, and expertly continues its mission to attract, retain, and expand industry in general. This council did its part by unanimously adopting all the legislation necessary, including adopting necessary changes to zoning, utilities, and approving tax abatement to make these economic development gains possible. Housing. It's actually frustrating to me that lost in the frequent discussion about the need for more housing, especially family housing, is our recent success in this area. There have been a number of positive developments toward increasing the number of housing units in Bowling Green, including 2 new apartment complexes, a senior living complex, a single-family housing development on the city's northwest side, and a new plat at Stone Ridge. All of these projects required some type of legislation to address zoning issues and make the developments possible. On the zoning code update. The zoning code update was a major project for the city administration and this council. The result of many months of hard work spanning 2 calendar years is the new revised zoning code that will make economic development easier and benefit the citizens of Bowling Green for multiple decades to come. And lastly, we should be very proud of our investment in infrastructure over the past 2 years. In my opinion, one of our most important duties as legislators is to ensure that our infrastructure, particularly our roads, sidewalks, and utilities, are updated and maintained. And we have made significant progress in paving roads, improving sidewalks, and upgrading utility infrastructure that will continue into this year. It is truly impressive to me that what this body can do when it works together to perform the duties enumerated and prescribed by our charter and our city code. And I look forward to more progress in 2024. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Are there any other council committee report? All right, hearing none. Brings us to the reading of legislation. Jody?
Legislation for first reading. Ordinance number 9158 for first reading. Ordinance amending ordinance number 9155, adopted by City Council on December 18th, 2023, to include additional information.
Mr. President,
Mr. Robinette?
I move to suspend the rules and give ordinance 9158 its second and third readings.
Second.
Properly moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? Jody?
Odericio?
Yes.
Phipps?
Yes.
Robinette?
Yes.
Sherry?
Yes.
Dennis?
Yes.
Harold?
Yes.
Hollenbaugh.
Yes. The rules are suspended for ordinance 9158.
Ordinance number 9158 for second and third readings. Ordinance amending ordinance number 9155, adopted by City Council on December 18th, 2023, to include additional information.
Mr. President,
Mr. Robinette?
I move to adopt ordinance 9158.
Second.
Properly moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? Jody?
Phipps?
Yes.
Robinette?
Yes.
Sherry?
Yes.
Dennis?
Yes.
Harold?
Yes.
Hollenbaugh?
Yes.
Odericio?
Yes.
All right, ordinance 9158 is adopted.
Ordinance number 9155 59 for first reading. Ordinance authorizing an agreement between the City of Bowling Green, Ohio, and the Wood County Regional Airport Authority. There is no legislation for second or third reading.
All right. Is there any other business to come before council this evening?
Yes, Mr. President, if I may.
Go ahead.
Sorry again that I was tardy this evening. I do have one question that may have been covered during official reports. The Safe Routes to Schools update, another huge success I think we had this year. Do we have any updates on that plan that's being devised, created?
Amanda Gamby is here, and she has some information. So Amanda,
We didn't
thanks.
plan this.
We do have a public input meeting that will be January 10th. We'll be getting information out. I'm hoping tomorrow. I'm waiting to hear for sure from the consultant on what he'd like in that press release. But they have been meeting with all of the schools. The schools are very actively engaged. They've been out and walked and driven every single school in the city and have quite a few recommendations that we see in the draft that I was able to get from the consultant a couple of days ago. So once we have that public input meeting, I mean, they'll be putting the finishing touches on that plan, and you should see something here pretty quick, I would think, after that. So,
Awesome. Thank you.
All right. Any other business? All right, hearing none, do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Properly moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. We are adjourned.
We're staying for.